Hi, my name is Meridith Foster, and I get to work for WBGL, and this is my story. It was September 11th, 2001, and at the time I was doing the morning show, and my co-host was Chuck Pryor, and one of my roles on the morning show was to do the news. So I do that at the top and the bottom of every hour, and we had this AP news wire in the studio, and I'd go over and pull off whatever the latest news was. And I remember that morning pulling this sheet off, and it said a small plane had crashed into the World Trade Center. So throughout the morning I would go back to the news wire and pull off the next story, and it just felt like the scope of the evil just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it was overwhelming. We finally just came to the place, and I don't know if Chuck suggested or maybe a listener called. I don't remember how we came to the place where we decided to do it, but we decided we would just stop and pray on the air, which looking back seems really logical, but I just remember in the chaos of that morning. So we stopped and we prayed, and it was a really simple, pretty desperate prayer. We had seen these plans of evil being carried out, and so we just asked God to step in and to stop that, to help the people who were trying to help, and just to ask that He would stop the loss of life. That was the thing that just felt like so overwhelming that morning. It was probably the first time that I recognized this power that we had to be a megaphone, and not just 2 or 3 gathered, but 1,000 or thousands. I don't really know, how many people, but I've heard from a lot of people since that day who were driving and they pulled their car over and they stopped and they prayed with us. Or they stopped whatever they were doing, in the midst of that craziness where we all were wondering what was going on, and they prayed with us. And it was a great introduction for me just to the power of Christian radio and how God uses WBGL. I don't know that our prayers changed anything that day, but it changed my heart and my perspective, and I think from talking with other people, theirs too. It was a reminder we have a great big God, and He's a good God, and that He was going to get us through. And that's one story I'll never forget.